I'm Kate Swann. I'm the CEO of SSP Group. SSP is a business that operates restaurants in travel locations.
For the 1600
So we operate over 300 different brands, so brands that you would know very well, like Marks and Spencer's and Starbucks, right through to Michelin star restaurants like Danny Garcia in Spain, for example. We operate in 30 countries around the world, and over 90% of our business is in airports and rail stations. And the other half of our business is our own brands that we develop, so things like Camden Foods that you see in stations in the UK, but you also see in airports in the US, Pasty Shop, Millie's Cookies, those sorts of brands. Well, travel locations require a completely different operating model to running restaurants downtown or on the high street. You get huge peaks and troughs in terms of passenger numbers. You have typically very, very small spaces because space at an airport or railway station is at a premium. So you have very, very limited cooking facilities. You have huge peaks of passengers, and those passengers are very, very time constrained. So we've done some research that shows customers aren't prepared, even in a sit-down restaurant, to wait more than 8 minutes from ordering for their food. They'll just get up and leave. So it's a very different set of challenges operating in a travel environment to operating downtown. Well, I started at WHSmith, and it was in a fairly difficult position. So I think about 8 weeks after I joined, which was around Christmas time, we did a profit warning, which was a very big profit warning. The business was quite complicated at the time. It had a big high street business, which everybody knows. It had a travel business that was about 10% of its profitability. Had a number of other businesses, including a publishing business, a wholesale business, and business overseas. So the first job was really to work out which bits of the business were sensible to stay and which bits of the business we would get better value from by disposing of one way or another. I think I have probably a different philosophy to others, or maybe I have the same philosophy that's stated, but I really believe it. So my view is a CEO's job is all about creating value for your shareholders, and that is your sole job. And everything you do should be driven around, does it create value for the people that own the business? And that is our single focus. I really enjoyed Coca-Cola, the 500ml PET curved bottle. That was something that I developed, and the UK brought that out before anybody in the US. So that was the first time I saw that lying in a gutter, my bottle. That was a big moment. That was on the North Circular. I can remember that now. Obviously, I loved my time at Smiths because we took something that was really struggling and made it very successful, and that was a huge team effort, and the team did a really good job. But I love SSP. It's always nice to get your teeth into another challenge. The reason I chose Bradford was because it had the separate management centre, and the thing that I really liked was you got a huge number of undergraduates but also a huge number of postgraduates, so it always felt quite relevant, and that it wasn't just academic, but you constantly got food from the real world because you had the postgraduates who'd been to work coming into the university. I think at Bradford, I'd lived down south for most of my life, and Bradford really opened up the fact that I'd never lived in a big city, that it was a big multicultural city, so it sort of broadened my horizon.
I was at Bradford in the mid-80s, probably as many of you were being born. Scary thought.
So when it came to looking for employment once I'd done my degree, I think I felt much more confident to be a bit more expansive in terms of where I was looking to work and where I would travel to and go to.